So, like Barbara mentioned, we are an organization called CALA. We are based in Nairobi, and our focus is mainly to catalyze digital transformation across the continent. So, in this presentation, I'll start briefly by explaining what we are doing in this sector. So, in Kenya, we know that there's so much data, like we have just mentioned, being collected by different organizations, KNBS, Business Data, KHIS. And this data is not fully utilized, especially in the AI, in development of AI. So what are we doing as CALA to ensure that this information can be used to support our people? So we are using the data that is available to develop foundational model. These are AI models that can support people in GBV or support people in business area. So our first tool that we'll be showcasing outside, we are calling it Atunzi. Atunzi mainly focuses on providing support to mothers in all stages of healthcare. So it's a tool that you can access it on your mobile phone through SMSs and also through WhatsApp. So it can be accessed using English, Swahili, speech. You can talk to it and it gives feedback to you. So that's the advantage. We have been collecting this data from the health data that is available, so that people are able to, we can be able to support women as they take care of their women. So what are the services being offered by Atunzi? We have developmental milestone, provide nutrition support, parenting tips, and so on. So the other tool, this is the QR code if you'd like to scan it, but we'll be sharing it outside just to see how we are supporting women in taking care of themselves and also taking care of their family. The other potential of AI we have seen in this tool that we are calling Biashara AI. We know the vendors and the women in the market, they always have that book where they register, how much have I sold today, who is owing me, and all that. So this is data that is not being used. So what are we trying to do? We are using this data to see how we can empower local business people so that they are able to see how much are they making, are they able to boost their productivity, and how they can grow their enterprises. So it has different features. So I'm just showing the capabilities of how AI can be used. And in the health sector, what have we been doing? I'm glad to see Madam, Her Excellence from Nandi. We worked closely with her last year, and also the governor from Kilifi, just trying to collect health data to see how we can support the county to make informed decisions. So in collaboration with Open Institute and Nandi and Kilifi County, we collected data from several health facilities, both in education and health sector. So what were we trying to show? We were trying to show the county government how they can use this data to support themselves and to make informed health decisions. And for example, in Nandi, using the data, we were able to showcase that, yes, the teenage pregnancies are high, and providing solution. Also showing in terms of education and health facility, just trying to show the county where are health facilities available in terms of maternity and all that. So what at the very end, what did we have? We were trying to provide some information to the country to show them how GBV it's an issue in some region based on the information that we got. And there was a correlation between health outcome and the education. So we saw that areas where education, girls' child were not attending school, there were issues to do with GBV, substance abuse, and it was interesting because as we were talking to the CEC, they mentioned that there's some region where like ladies, since due to poverty and lack of education, early pregnancies are common, people are abusing alcohol, and leading to GBV in those regions. And it was a good indication using the data that they have already collected to show how the county can take measures to have rehabilitative center that can take care of these people. In terms of education, can they have programs where they're able to educate girls and show them how they should take care of themselves? So it's a way of using readily available data to inform the situation in the county. So the same thing we did in Kilifi County, and it was the same case. There were areas where there were no schools, and this, I like the presenter who said that women were accessing smartphones from their husband. I mean, they can't access, they don't have access to smartphone, but they were using their husband's smartphone. And that was the issue in Kilifi as well. The data showed that early pregnancies were an issue. And in some regions, especially where agricultural, where there are no schools, early pregnancy were an issue, and there were no maternity facility. So even this, when these girls get pregnant, they're not able to get access to health support. And what does that result to? They result to home births, which was so, they were prevalent in Kilifi. And home birth, most of them led to deaths. That's what the data was showing us. So there's a vicious cycle of girls getting pregnant, getting married at an early age, being abused in the families where they are. But since the community, the community is okay with the setting, and like she mentioned about the traditions and taboos in the region, GBV was so common. And so we presented this to the governor, and with the CEC, in the same way we presented to the Nandi County, they were like, yeah, these are the issues in our government, and they were like, we can use this data. We have the data that is being collected by the county government. We have the data from KHIS. This is information that can be used to develop tools that can inform the county government of how to curb gender-based violence. So how can we use data that we already have to stop gender-based violence? So we have to provide women access to information. And that's why we said, like the Atunzi we have that's providing women information to do with childcare, can we also have tools that women can access health information using maybe WhatsApp or using SMSs where they can ask for information and they get feedback and support. In terms of the county government, like we showcased in these two governments, showing them how they can use this data to make informed decisions. And we were so happy in Nandi County where we saw that they were ready to set up a unit to collect data, real-time data for them to make like informed decisions. That's what we will advocate for most of the county governments in Kenya. And like we were talking about funds, if we could share this information with our funders, with our government, it showcases the problem we have in our county government or in our country, and the funders will be ready to support us, maybe to set the rehabilitative center, or also to support the people who have been, they have experienced GBV. So, but we were talking about data is key, and we have talked about access. The data is available, but is the access available? And for us who are building AI tools to support women, data is key, and we need it to develop large language models that will power the AI tools. But do we have access to quality data? Like I mentioned, we were analyzing data from KDHIS. There are forms with redundant information. There are forms with a lot of information that we need to clean. How can we ensure that this information is clean so that we are able to develop tools that inform, that can easily support the curb of GBV? In terms of talent, we know there are very few women in the AI sector. We know the universities now have started courses that speak to AI. Is this something that we should speak about, developing AI tools that support women? Should they be developed by women? Because we understand each other. We need also to inform, we need to train more women in this area so that they're able to develop tools that can support women. Financial barriers, just like we have talked here, training and deploying these tools is expensive. So how should we go about it? Do we need funders to support us in this? That's also an issue. So thank you so much for listening to me. The main aim is just to ensure that if we have AI tools that can support women, that will be a great way to ensure even the women with stigma still have access to information and they are able to support others based on the information they have collected. Thank you so much.
I think Wanjiru used AI to keep time. Thank you very much, Wanjiru. Please appreciate her as she sits. Thank you very much. We have come to the last session of the day. It's not a long one. It is just to give us a way forward around different sectors. So I want to invite these ladies. I want to invite they all happen to be ladies, so it's okay. I want to invite Professor Judith from Kenyatta University. Appreciate her as she comes. You can have a seat there. Thank you very much. She comes from the WeHub of Kenyatta University. On Matters Land, I want to call Rachel from Landesa. She will tell us what are we going to do on Matters Land when it comes to data. After these 2 days, tutasema, tutadu. Sawa sawa. I see you appreciate her until she comes. Rachel, wasipopiga makofi unatembea polepole. You want Rachel to come between you and lunch and closing ceremony. All right, thank you very much. I also want to welcome Wendy Aura. Wendy, she's a young advocate. She'll talk to us on matters education. Again, appreciate her until she comes to sit. She'll speak to us on matters education. And then we want to have Florence from Kenya SDGs Forum to take us forward. Where are we with SDGs and what can we do with data to get us to where we need to be? Hey, I appreciate her. Come on, you can do better than that. Thank you so much. So we had a conversation on GBV in the morning, and I think we can have these 4 sectors just to give us a way forward. Sawa sawa? Are we here or we are not? All right. The media, the journalists who are in the training room, can you lift up your hands? Appreciate our media teams. Yes, we've just had a small workshop, but I have committed, I'm saying this before my boss who has just come, our Secretary Gender, Sylvia Mwichuli, she has just come, and appreciate her well. So I'm saying this before her so that she knows I've committed the office that we are going to come back to Nakuru County and do a proper 2-day training for the media on gender data. So that even as we speak data, the journalists, because we've done this in Kisumu, we've done this in Mombasa, but the immediate one should be Nakuru County. Sawa sawa, am I permitted? Yes, amenipatia thumbs up. All right, quick one. Ladies, how are you? So I want 2 questions. I'm only asking 2 questions, and you answer with 1 answer. Yes, it is 2 questions, 1 answer. Inaitwa fire chat. In fact, Becca ungeka pa fire. But, so, question is, and I'll start with Prof. You've done a lot of research on women economic empowerment at Kenyatta University. You even have a WIN Hub. You've come to the Women in Data Summit. What are we missing when it comes to data around women economic empowerment? And then the second question, what should be a way forward in terms of women economic empowerment? That is your question. Please take it away. Give her that mic.
Thank you very much. What I see in terms of what is missing is access to this data. So we need to have a coordinating body to pull together all this research we are doing on women economic advancement in order for us to access this data. The second thing we need to have is to invest in mining this data. As we have seen during the last 2 days, it's very expensive to mine this data. It is also expensive to disseminate this data. Thank you.
Umeona vile ni short and sweet. Thank you. Mpigeni makofi. On Matters Land, Landesa does a lot of work on Matters Land. Yesterday we saw you on camera talking about that the Constitution is not speaking to what is on the ground. The Constitution has given us very good rights and laws that are related to inheritance, but when you work with women, you are seeing gaps. So what are we not doing in terms of collection of data at that level on Matters Land? And number 2, where do we go from here on Matters Land and data?
Thank you so much, my friend. Again, my name is Rachel Dinda. I come from Landesa, Kenya. And let me take this opportunity, Florence, once again, to thank you and all of us who made this happen. Let me go straight to the question on the spirit of the Constitution and the experiences of the women. For those of us who work in the land sector, we know that the experiences of the women, what's here is not on the ground. Kwa Kiswahili wanasema kwa ground vitu ni?
Different.
Kwa ground vitu ni?
Different.
Ni different. And recently I attended a meeting organized by Generation Equality. And we said that what we must do together is to make sure that the voices of the women count. I want to give a very brief example about what we are doing in the western part of Kenya. We are working, Landesa works with the government. So we primarily work with the government in policy, advocacy, and implementation. And in this project, we are targeting women. And the gap is that women are not aware. The customs continue to suppress them, and therefore their voices cannot be heard. And therefore, even if they know, and I know a lot of us have done a lot of capacity building and advocacy with the women, but even if they know, the cultures suppress them so that they are not able to express themselves. They are not able to take the first step to claim their land rights. So that is where the gap is. And again, on data, nobody knows. We have some basic idea of, some research that have been done by Kenya Land Alliance and many of us in this room. But none of us can really tell specifically that this is the amount of land that women own. Am I speaking alone on this?
No.
Is this the true position?
Yes.
Yeah. So the other gap is that when you want to conduct an intervention, let me just give an example. Right now, we are implementing a project in which we are supporting women to carry out succession. But the real cost of succession is not anywhere or documented anywhere in Kenya. So we cannot specifically say exactly this is the amount of money that is required. And for a woman who has been bereaved and is fighting cultural baggage of in-laws or community members, and sometimes even duty bearers not being on her side, the burden is triple. So going forward, Florence, I think what we need to carry out from this summit is share, and share data. So that if you've conducted some survey, let's not hold on to data. If you have some outcome that you've done in the communities, citizen-generated data, let's be able to share within ourselves and also communicate with the government so that whatever we have in the yes, whatever we have in the database can be spread in our country, regionally, and even beyond the region. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Rachel. Please appreciate her. And I think you're mentioning things very critical, because how do we then collect data around the cultural bias within inheritance, the challenges, those kangaroo courts that deny women their rights when it comes to access to land. And I'm looking at Professor Judith, and I'm thinking about there's a lot of theses that people need to do at master's level, PhD level, that we should speak to that and offer solutions from a university point of view. So thank you so much. Wendy Aura, how are you?
I'm fine.
Cool. Wendy comes from Fawe, Kenya, and Fawe have been known around matters girl-child education. You've come to this summit. What have you seen? What do you came with certain gaps. What are those gaps within education? And then where do we go from here now that we know what the gaps are?
Thank you so much, Florence. First, let me just mention that our breakout session was very intense, and because the many challenges around girls' education in the country. And I'm very proud to say that Fawe Kenya has been at the front line of pushing for policies to ensure quality and equitable education for girls across the country. And one of the key things that stood out in our discussions was the re-entry policy that Fawe Kenya spearheaded in collaboration with the Ministry of Education to make it happen. And you all know about the issue of teenage pregnancy in this country as a big animal in the room. So about the re-entry policy, we have the policy in place. But now the question comes in, do we have data for the reabsorption and transition rates for the girls, the teenage mothers that get back to school? So we have one hand supporting them and pushing them to get back to school, but to be able to evaluate the success rate of this policy, do we have data that shows this is the number of teenage mothers that have effectively benefited from the policy? Then number two, beyond just the reabsorption back to school, the post-re-entry is an issue that came out strongly, because what we felt there's a gap in terms of interventions around the mental health of the teenage mothers when reintegrating them to schools. So we need to look at how we are able to empower teachers in schools, specifically on mental health, so that they're able to support the teenage mothers that have been integrated, because there's a lot of stigma around the re-entry. And another thing that came out from that issue of re-entry policy was we need more dissemination of data, and also just creating awareness, sensitizing the communities and stakeholders about this policy. We realize that not all counties are aware about this policy. And if they are aware, how effective is the implementation? So there's more call to multi-stakeholder engagement in terms of dissemination of data on issues around re-entry of teenage mothers to school. And just to mention the last one, the Ministry of Education, they use data from NEMIS the National Education Management Information System. So that is the data they use to inform their decisions. And one of the challenges that also came out was the issue of the sanitary pads in schools. And if the government is using NEMIS to make decisions on the allocation of these sanitary pads, then we need to revise the data tools that are used within NEMIS, because there's an issue of different areas having different variety in vulnerability. So is this NEMIS collecting effective data that can give the extent of vulnerability of girls so that they can get more allocation compared to girls who are able to afford? So that was one of the gaps we also saw. And also coming out strongly is the accountability of the distribution of such sanitary towels to promote girls' education. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think you touched on very key points, the re-entry policy, are we tracking? Yeah. And also for me, I want to go further and ask, as we track the girls that go back to school, are we tracking those that missed? As we track pregnancy rates, adolescent pregnancy, are we checking why they were pregnant? Was it defilement? Was it incest? So that it informs preventive mechanisms. So thank you very much. Please appreciate Wendy. And last but not least, we look at SDGs. The recent report I've seen is that Kenya is on a downward trend in terms of being able to achieve SDGs. We are not moving like this. The graph on the is going down. And so Florence, tell us, what are the gaps in terms of data when it comes to tracking SDGs? But then what do we do now, even with the gaps going forward, to help us move from the downward trend to an upward trend? Karibu.
Thank you very much. All protocols observed. My name is Florence Evo, the Executive Director of the SDG Kenya Forum. I'm so glad to see Sylvia Muchuli. I'll tell you the story behind, allow me to, because in 2007, I was very fresh from the university. And I ended up in one of these civil society organizations. And then this particular organization was championing Millennium Development Goals. And the biggest supporter was the UN Millennium Campaign, where Sylvia Muchuli used to work. And I remember the kind of work that we did for very many number of years until 2015. And so since then, I've never seen Sylvia, or we've never crossed paths, you know? So seeing her here and the passion, and also Sylvia, for you to know that I'm still in this space, you know, moved from the Millennium Development Goals to the SDGs, and I'm really glad to be here. Thank you, Florence, and all the other co-organizers, just to acknowledge all of you and the, you know, just the kind of work I know that has gone behind the scenes to make sure that we could have the first summit on data in this country. I think that's something that we need to applaud kindly. I say this because Frida Grutz, you know. Yes, I do. Yeah. I have many stories, but they'll all add up. One time in New York, Frida and I had to run after the Director General of the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics. And we had a mission, and our mission was to tell him about citizen-generated data and how Kenya needed to align itself to the uptake of citizen-generated data in Kenya. Other countries were doing it, and this is the only chance we had to meet him. And we ran down the street after this guy. And we said to him, you don't know us, but we know you very well. Please just give us 5 minutes. We need to introduce ourselves, and we need to tell you why Kenya needs to uptake citizen-generated data. And since then, it was about 3 to 4 years of advocacy, us going to meetings, and the DG then one day just laughed and said, I've never met persistent women like you two. You've run after me, and you've convinced me so much that one time we went and said, we want to go to Ghana, because Ghana have a very nice citizen-generated data framework, and we want to take you and your team to see what the Ghanaians are doing, and then we can come back to Kenya and implement. So the long story short, for some of us, it was the first time we experienced benchmarking, and we went with the government teams and private sector, civil society. We learned, and that's how the citizen-generated data conversation took off in this country. Yeah, so today when I'm sitting here and then I'm seeing Frida, I'm seeing Sylvia, all these memories are coming back. Why am I saying all these things? Sometimes our efforts might seem like you're just running after somebody on the streets of New York. You're just working with somebody you'll never meet again, you think in your mind. But later on in life, you come and start adding the dots why we do all these efforts. And that's why I'm really, really glad that this summit has taken off, Florence. And I know we will retell our stories. Maybe today the room is not as full as we desire. Maybe not everybody we wanted to be in this conversation is here. I heard people say maybe we need more policy makers, maybe we need more civil society, maybe we need more private sector, and that's fine. We've started somewhere, and we will be able to move towards bettering ourselves, and we'll come back and say, do you remember the song for groups we sang and learned during this? Do you remember how we danced around, how we spoke around, and what the kind of things we did? And so today, mine is to remind you that Kenya is a signatory among the 193 countries that signed up for the SDGs, the 2030 agenda. We only have a few years left to 2030, less than 6 years. We're not doing well, not just Kenya alone, but the world, I think because of the COVID-19, because of the wars in Ukraine, Gaza, and many others, the inflation in dollar, there's been so many global trends and issues that have really affected the Sustainable Development Goals implementation. But again, also at country level, you know that we've also had our internal challenges as Kenya. And so even as we speak about this summit, I want to make sure that you understand that it's only 17%. The SDGs are 17 in number. We have 169 targets across the 17 goals and 232 indicators. Out of the 232 indicators, it's said that only 17% can be reported on by most countries, meaning there's a huge data gap. And the reasons why we are not reporting as we should be reporting is because of the issues of the data gaps. And that's why it's important for us to see all these initiatives in this room, who's doing what, data on GBV, data on child mortality, data on food and security, health, peace and security. All these development agendas are all very critical, and we need to especially showcase the gender agenda within all these SDGs and within all the data initiatives. It's good to say to you that about at least over 64 indicators directly speak to the issues of data, gender data, and so we need to go out there. My call to you is, how do we align the different initiatives towards specific indicators within the SDGs? The Kenya National Bureau of Statistics and us have an MOU, and the MOU is one to take up citizen-generated data. We're encouraging more non-state actors to come up with data sets, and we are mapping out. So I'd want to see in the room, how many of you are data producers? Your organization, you consider yourself a data producer? Just look around the room and see. Josiah, Irene, I hope kindly, maybe just to say after this, we'd want to have some of you register with us because of the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics. Because why it's important to link is to ensure that you can participate in the national processes of the uptake of your statistics or data into the national process. This can be reported as official statistics. And let's encourage more and more organizations across the country to be part and parcel of the national processes. The reason I'm saying this is, one, we have to all understand national processes that contribute to gender statistics or data in general. We have to build capacity within these institutions. Number two, we have to simplify the data products that already exist. And I know many of the groups people talked about, we have a lot of grassroots women here. How many of them can really read this kind of reports and understand? Even our own mothers, our own relatives, people who are not maybe in this field, even ourselves, we struggle with big reports. How do we simplify information? How do we visualize in a way that communities and others can understand these reports? And then the last one is ensuring that we can continuously build capacity, not just internally, but also among different countries. There's a lot that is happening in different countries. How do we uptake whatever creativity, innovation? Because finance now, and I know people said, is there money for gender data? Where is the money? But I want to tell you that we are seeing innovation. Money is following innovation. Money is following problem solving. So let's be problem solvers. Let's be innovators around the data space. Thank you, Florence.
Thank you very much. Please appreciate her. So, the last question I want to ask, and I want a one-word answer. One. If you're not going to say one word, Nivio. So the question is, what do you want to see, or rather, which sector do you want us to focus largely on, except yours, ile uko? Come Women in Data 2025. A sector that is not where you work. So, Prof, usiniambie mambo ya women economic empowerment. Tell me just one sector, one word, because I want the people, and then we want to do the closing ceremony. So, please give let's start with you. One word. Which sector should we focus on come to August 2025 Women in Data Summit?
New sources of data, such as satellite, new technology, the big data.
Yeah. So use of technology. Yeah. I see Sylvia writing down, so we are covered. Yes?
In one sentence, technology and democracy.
Technology, democracy. So we veer around data around women in leadership, access to and democratic participation. Okay? One.
Okay.
Usiseme land.
I'm trying. Climate change and connection to gender-based violence.
Very good. And that was mentioned by our director from KNBS yesterday about climate change gaps. Yes.
I will say one, and I wanted to add something on the women economic advancement. Can I say what I want? Can I add something?
Say, if you're going to say women economic empowerment, start with that, and then give me that one word.
All right.
But please be brief.
All right, sure. I wanted to add two more issues that arose from the women economic advancement. One, we had said that many organizations are in the area of generating gender data, but there is a need to translate this data into policies or program in order to make impact. That came across all the presentations. And number two, we agreed that there are many players in this area of data, but there is need for partnership and collaboration. So that is very important.
So that means I need to see you collaborating with Nairobi University.
Yeah, right.
Those two we have, yes.
We do, yeah. So the area I would like to focus on is the area of advocacy, because we have done quite a bit of work, but now getting other people to know what we are doing. So that's what I propose. Thank you.
Wonderful. Please appreciate my panel as they go to sit down. Msikue wachoyo. And on that note, if I can get help in removing these chairs from here, because now we're getting to the closing ceremony. We're getting towards the end of the closing ceremony. The team that is working on the communique, I need 2 copies, even as we hear the speeches. So please, somebody, the men in the room were very good yesterday, and I see them jumping up. Thank you so much. Please help me remove this. Appreciate them as they come. They are not hotel staff, they are participants who are helping. So, we've come to the last leg of this summit, and There's a lady I really want to appreciate, even as I invite her to come to give her closing remarks. And this lady, I met her, when did we meet? 2019? Yes, so we met in 2019. She's the Deputy Governor, Nandi County. And remember yesterday I told you she's, at the moment, Yendi ameshikilia the best Deputy Governor. So Miss Dui County yenu inakaa aje? I don't know about your Deputy Governor, but who ndio number one? And you can see why she's number one. She came yesterday. She has stayed. She has gone into sessions. She's been thrown into panels. Hata zingine hizo panels zimewaka moto. Yeye iko too cool, calm and collected. She's responding. That is the mark of true leadership. DG, we appreciate you. Another thing, as she comes to give her remarks, yesterday, I sealed a deal there outside there as we finished this meeting. I called groups. I said, Dennis and Rachel, come here. Stephanie, also come here. You need to work with this lady. Yes. Next week we are in Nandi. Now, that is what we are doing. That's what we need to do. We come out of this, we move from inaction to action. And then when you find policymakers that are willing, don't go knocking in doors which are not being opened. You knock at a door that is open, you enter, and we move on. Yeah, so hata kama ulipanga, in our NGO we only work in this area. My friend, the world is your oyster. If Marsabit decides, groups kujeni, munaenda, sindio? So that we start showing other counties the possibilities that exist when you elect a good leader. Sindio? Aya. So, I want you to join me. And then, by the way, her CECs followed her here. They are right here in this room. And even when we were sealing the deal, they were also there sealing the deal. And then, by the way, Frida, we finalized by singing the group song. I'm sorry, my apologies. We finalized by singing the anthem. That means when we finish this meeting, I want a grassroots woman, a young one, an older one. They're the ones who are going to give the communique to the DG and the representative from the office of the president. That's what I want. So mwanze kujipanga. But for now, allow me, please stand up as we welcome the Deputy Governor, Nandi County, as she gives her closing remarks on behalf of counties. Please appreciate my friend, the Deputy Governor, Nandi County. May I also say, the incoming governor, 2027. Because as far as I'm concerned, where there is a woman, there is progress. And so, it's required the Office of the Women's Rights Advisor to have the first Women in Data Summit. So where there is a woman, there is progress. Where there is a woman, there is what? Progress. Sasa, watu wa Nandi, simufanye hiyo kitu. Asante sana.
Mwenzako ambaye karibu na mfanye hivi, mkumbatie, mwambie asai. Turudie tena, mama aliye karibu na wewe mwambie asai. Sai, naomba tuketi chini. I love to sing. And there is a song which I'll just make one line. It says, hii ndiyo siku aliyoifanya Bwana, tuishangilie na kufurahiwa nayo. The inaugural Data Summit is here. I'm excited to have been part of this inaugural summit, and I am going back enriched. And I want to thank God for each one of you. I believe that God brought us here collectively but individually because He wants to use us as instruments to effect change back at the grassroots. From the counties, I already mentioned yesterday that one of the challenges that we are grappling with is that gender is not a devolved function. And because of that, we struggle with funding any programs. However, I am excited that in this room, we have organizations that we can partner with so that we can address inequalities, we can address gender-based violence issues in our communities, and especially for us to be able to document. I want to thank the organizers for inviting me to this summit. I also want to thank the Office of the Women Rights Advisor for thinking of putting together this summit so that we assess where we are and we can decide where we want to go as we take Kenya forward as far as data is concerned, as far as accessing data, as far as generating data, as far as using data to inform policy. For all the men and women who took their time off from their busy offices and schedules to come and listen to each other, we don't take it for granted. I wish you every bit of success. May the Lord bless you and enlarge your territory, your coastline. May He enlarge your influence so that we leave Kenya a better place than we have found it. We recognize the efforts that have been done by our predecessors, the women and men who have been in this gender space, who have laid the foundations that we are riding on. We recognize that each one of us has a contribution to make. May the Lord help us so that when we exit the stage of life, we will have left impact. I was particularly excited when we had this panel in the morning of the people who have funds or who have networks for funding. And there was this lady who has a foundation after her, who has committed her resources to take care of the causes that she stood for, including equality, including issues to do with gender-based violence. I wish we had more of such like. One of the things that also I have picked and which I think needs to stand out is investing in prevention. And I think that can only happen if we are willing, one, to sensitize our women and girls to know their rights, to challenge them and encourage them to speak up, because silence is our greatest killer. It is the greatest enemy in this cause, because there are people who are suffering And until it has gone bad, you will never know. Like the recent athlete we lost, Cheptegei. The community and the family you hear will say they know that they have been fighting. There have been squabbles. The girl has run away from that environment, but he still follows up and comes back. So I think a lot needs to go in to, one, building capacity for our girls and our women to be able to say no, to be able to stand up, to be able to speak up. So from counties, we want to say the work that the Office of the Women Rights Advisor has undertaken is a noble one. I will wind up by saying we support the work that you do and we wish you every bit of success. Involve more of us in counties. When we were out for refreshment, there was somebody from your office who I said, when he introduced himself, said, I work in the Office of the Women Rights Advisor. I said, one of the other things that we have not done in this country, we are not good at. As women, we have not been intentional about building each other. When we have, those of us who are in this space of leadership, we have opportunities to bring women together, but we rarely do. When organizations bring women together, there are segments of our community, just like they say they've brought women leaders. Maybe women leaders in the civic space, women leaders in the NGO world, women leaders in church, women leaders in whatever other space. I want to challenge the Office of the Women Rights Advisor. I know occasionally you have meetings, you will invite women MPs. You will invite probably even, I know that the women governors have their caucus, they call themselves G7. We have 8 women deputy governors who hang. There is no one holding their hand. We are available. And kindly find us an appointment. I bring the 8 women DGs. We come and have a conversation and see areas of collaboration. I am their leader. And it is an honor that has been given to me, courtesy of the fact that, first of all, I'm the only woman DG who's doing second term. And as we go our different ways, I want to welcome you to Nandi. Feel free to come and visit, come and interact with us, come and work with us. And pray for me. I do not want to stand between you and your lunch. I want to end my remarks there. And I want to thank my sister, Dr. Tekla too. She was our woman rep in the last assembly. She's now working in the Office of the President as Agenda Advisor. Thank you, my sister. Keep up the good work. Let's see how we can work together. Thank you very much. And thank you, Rocho.
Congo Summit. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, DG. We've taken note of what you've said. The last speech is going to be presented, and then I will have 2 women, grassroots women, 1 young, 1 older. Then I will ask all the partners, after they've given the communique later, then all the partners who were part of the planning to come and take a photo. But for now, please help me welcome my senior, who also, by the way, Florence, when she was working in the UN, she gave me some consultancies in communication. I did work. Yes, you need to know Sylvia. If you don't have a Sylvia in your life, I don't know. So we have met again in the Office of the Women's Rights Advisor, where we work, where she's my senior in rank, and also she's here to represent Honorable Harriet Chigai with the closing remarks. Please join me in welcoming my boss, Sylvia Mwichuli. Ai, siata msimame. Unajua saa ingine isikuwe kwamba nilitumwa ati msipigie boss wangu makofi. Nikirudi ofisi ni barua tu zinaongea. So please appreciate her.
Afternoon, everyone. How are you doing? Ebu, just stand up and tell the person next to you, thank you for staying up to the end. Give them a hug. Girls, we don't mind giving each other hugs. Give them a hug and tell them, thank you for staying up to the end. Yeah. Thank you so much. I'm also a fan of singing, but I don't have a singing voice. Yeah? But I want to thank you. Please take your seats. I'm so delighted, Madam DG, and we are going to be at your office before you're at our office. Yeah, because we've actually been talking about coming to Nandi. We've had your exploits. Yeah, we know about you. So I think we're going to take up the offer. Thank you so much for offering to convene the 8 deputy DGs. It's really a miracle that we can even talk about 8 deputy DGs. You know, that being in one sentence was not there in the past. So we thank God. I also want to appreciate a girl who was my daughter. She was very tiny. You know, Flo, I never knew you can put on weight. As she's sitting here, she has really put on weight. I know some of you are looking and wondering, what am I talking about? She was a tiny little girl just out of college. And we did exploits. We did exploits. And if you guys want to know the whole story, just look for me at lunchtime. But I want to say that I am so humbled and delighted to be here today. But before I share the speech that I have been given by our advisor, who unfortunately actually was on her way and was called back, and now has had to go back to Nairobi. I don't know if she's going to make it. She said she's going to go back and try and make it back, but I don't know if she'll make it. I just want to invite our sister. Please appreciate her as she comes. She's the advisor to the president on gender, and I thought it's important for you guys to see her face. I'm sure you've seen her during the sessions, but I'd like her to say something about her office, and also just you get a chance to appreciate her.
Good afternoon. I'm more than delighted to talk about my office today. I'm Dr. Tum, Advisor Gender Affairs in the Office of the President. When you talk about gender, it's not women. Gender is men and women and their roles, their act. So where we are talking about, why we are talking about women now? Because there is inequalities. And the people who face a lot of inequalities are the women and the children and persons with disabilities. So my prayer is, I want to see there is inequality in education. Of course, we know there is the issue of reentry. There is the issue of parity in lower primary and secondary schools. But at the universities, Professor Christine, you are to do something. okay, concerning gender parity. Number 2, agriculture. Who are the women who are toiling from morning to evening? Who are the people who are toiling? They are the women. Is it captured in the gross domestic product in the country? So we need more data so that we can see women are empowered. Another one is the environment. The person from Kenya, National Bureau of Statistics, said we need more research in environment and climate change. So the next summit, we want to see something. The NGOs, the CPOs, we want to see what you have done concerning environment and climate change, health, the HIV/AIDS. We have closed our eyes. We are talking about COVID, but there is a lot of cases of HIV/AIDS. Are the women protected? Do we have more research in that area, judiciary? The orphans and the widows, are they getting their rights? If they are not, have you done research pertaining title deeds and what have you? Security. I know in security, we have gender tests in all the police stations. We engaged, when I was in parliament, psychologists. Have they reached the 47 counties so that they take charge of the women there? Politics, this is my area of interest. The DG has said, and she talked about herself. In government, we are talking about, in the constitution, the 2/3 gender rule. Have you done the research? The weaknesses why women are not occupying political space? As I was privileged to be in the 2/3 gender working group, and we presented our report. We are in shortfall of 54 women in the current parliament, the Senate and the parliament. So we are for clause Article 177B. We want to go as per the counties so that we can get gender parity. What are you doing in the politics arena? On the other side, economy. We know the government, we are giving out ASLA funds. I call upon each one of you to call upon those who are not assessing to do so. We have the NGOs who are offering funds. We have the roots, okay? Roots. Yeah, and I was impressed. They summarized my work. Mama apate yake ya kiseria. Mama apate yake ya kijamii. We need to develop take care centers. Have you worked, have you done research on that? Have you followed models from other countries? Mama apate yake kwa kiuchumi. Have you done research? Why is their work not factored in the economy? Mama apate haki ya kisiasa. Do something about it. You have talked about simplify the data. Take it to the grassroots. Publish. So let's do something about that so that when we come next time, we don't have a heap of researchers in our universities with the CAP section. Can you look at all the CAP section in the dissertation and the thesis so that you don't work on new research, areas of research, so that we don't do research without implementation? Somebody said the government should give us conducive environment. I'm here standing with my sister. We are giving you conducive environment. We want the models of South Africa of GDP, gender-based violence funding. to happen in Kenya. Yeah, we want the NGOs to partner with us. We want the NGOs to private sector and the government. We are here. That is why they organized this conference. Okay? So, the government is you and me. Do you know that? The government is not an animal and you are not a sheep. The government is you and me. The Bible says, come we reason together. And that is why we are here, we are reasoning together. How can we take the women of Kenya forward? It is you, it is my dear sister from Kenya Roots, it is my dear son from Local Development Research Institute. If you want to harness gender against inequality, end of poverty and anger, let's work together. We have said we are calling upon you and we have open arms. Okay? Yes. Wanasemanga mkono moja haiui chawa. So let's have a different mindset. Let's have a different mindset. Let's connect data together. Let's disseminate. Let's publish and let's use it together. Thank you so much. I love you with my heart, my bottom, and my everything. Thank you for what you have done. God bless you. Special love goes to Shosho. Shosho nakupenda sana. If Shosho can do it, what about you? Why are you sleeping? Why are you sleeping? The people of Nandi County. Yeah, where are the NGOs in Nandi? Why are you not using your knowledge to impact the people of Nandi? Can you go and rethink and use the information which you have been given to not think about the governor alone? What about you as an individual? Thank you.
Thank you. Let's appreciate her again. Thank you, thank you. There's a real danger I put myself in, speaking after two politicians. Can you imagine? Yeah, but I just want, before I read the speech of our advisor, I'm a storyteller, so I have to tell you a short one. I promise you it's very short. Some years ago, I was a convener of a forum called the African Green Revolution Forum. I remember in the first forum, it was in Accra. We were planning for 1,000 people. Only around 300 came, and the 300 included about 100 people from Agra, who are the hosts organization. And I remember in that forum, us discussing that a journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. This last week, that forum is held every week in September, the first week of September. This last week, the forum was in Kigali. I think some of you may have followed it. And this last week, they had 5,000 people attending in person and 5,000 people who attended online. So I want you guys to know that today is but a beginning. This is going to be the biggest Women in Data Summit globally. And you can take that to the bank. What really matters is that this group of partners, Musiwachane, yeah, I love the fact that this is one forum we have convened together with partners. And I want to tell the partners, this is the first step. We're going to work together to build something great. I think just from the discussions in the room, things were very hot, right? So you know that there's a lot to talk about. And I love that we already have an agenda for the next forum. Florence, I think umesikiza vizuri, eh? We already have an agenda for the next forum, so planning should start now. Don't delay. Planning must start now so that next forum, this room will not even be enough. We will need to go to KICC or some place like that has serious space. So I just wanted to say that to encourage everybody that this is but the first. So allow me to read the speech from the advisor, who, by the way, is the data champion within government. Yes, the gender data champion within government. Our responsibility she was given, I think, yeah, by Frida, and our responsibility she takes, wherever she goes, she introduces herself as the gender data champion. So we believe we're in the right place. Ladies and gentlemen, globally, we face a number of issues related to GBV, economic empowerment, vulnerable members in the community, leadership, and governance. And I think a lot has been said here about the challenges being faced. And we are pleased to say that Kenya is not unique. Even as we discuss the state in Kenya, our country is not unique. But the big question is, how do we resolve these related challenges? And the answer is data. And yes, as has been said here, even by Dr. Tum, disaggregated data. We need more disaggregated data. This has been a conversation for a while, but the reality we are seeing now is that we can't make informed decisions without proper data. We came together since yesterday to discuss this critical issue of the absence of women and girls in data. Our two-day meeting themed Innovation, Financing, and Status of Women in Gender Data was crucial to underpin our understanding of gender inequalities, inform us on policy decisions, and collectively drive our progress towards gender equality. Over the course of this summit, we have explored a range of perspectives and insights. We have heard about the innovative approaches being developed to collect, analyze, and disseminate gender data, and I'm so glad. I know I came late, but at least I caught that session by Hala. I love what they're doing with AI. And also, we have talked about the challenges and opportunities in securing adequate financing for gender data initiatives. We have also examined the critical role that gender data plays in advancing women's rights and empowering women across all sectors of the society. As we conclude this very, very important gathering, I would like to take a moment
is essential for progress. I think throughout this forum, the issue of innovation has come up, and the development of new technologies and methodologies has been discussed at a very, very high level. By embracing innovation, we will ensure that our data is accurate, reliable, and relevant to the needs of policymakers and researchers. Secondly, the second key takeaway is financing is a critical barrier. I think even through this last forum, it is critical that we address this gap of financing, and this is from the government, but also from the development partners' side. The lack of adequate funding for gender data initiatives is a significant obstacle, and we must work together to secure sustainable financing that supports the development and use of gender data, including advocating for increased investment by government, mobilizing private sector into this space, and also exploring innovative financing mechanisms. So that is something, as a takeaway, we can work together. Thirdly, I think one of the things that we have realized over the last 2 days is that gender data is a powerful tool. Can I hear an amen to that? Amen. Gender data is a powerful tool. When used effectively, gender data is a powerful tool in driving social and economic change. By understanding the experiences and the needs of women and girls, we will be able to develop policies and programs that address the inequalities that they are facing and promote gender equality. So we cannot even overemphasize the need for producing more gender data. Finally, women's empowerment is paramount. I think throughout these 2 days, we've had conversations around the need to enhance women empowerment and the importance of gender data in that process, from data collection to data analysis and dissemination. By empowering women, we are ensuring that their perspectives are reflected in the data and that they have a voice in shaping policies that affect their lives. I therefore urge all of us to continue to prioritize gender data in our work and to support the development and implementation of innovative approaches. We must advocate for increased financing to ensure that we have resources needed to achieve our goals. Finally, join me in committing to the following. As an Office of the Women Rights Advisor, we want to commit to the following. Number one, we commit to the promotion of gender equality, which will be achieved by using gender statistics to inform policies and programs that promote gender equality and gender women. We also commit to supporting innovation. We commit to investing in research and working together to develop and advance innovative approaches to gender data collection, analysis, and dissemination. We also commit to adding our voice, and believe me, we have a strong voice, to advocating for financing. We're totally convinced that as an outcome of this conference, that we need to do more in terms of advocating for financing. We will work together to secure the necessary financing and funding required. And finally, we want to work together to coordinate data producers, ensure that they are better coordinated. It is in our best interest that we highlight the need to make men and women and girls visible in data, and there is a need to ensure that we have a coordinated approach. It is not right to have everybody doing their little thing here and there. So as an office, we commit to supporting the coordination of all the players in this sector. By working together, we can achieve a world where women and girls have the data and the resources they need to thrive. I want to also recognize the presence of county governments and their resolve to advance the gender data agenda. So once again, I'd like to ask all of you to give a clap to Nandi County for leading from the front. And our hope and prayer is that at the next Gender Summit, we'll not only have the 8 women DGs present, but we'll also have all other counties in participation. As we conclude this summit, we need to work harder together to change the conversations going forward. I urge you to continue championing for innovation, advocate for increased financing, and prioritize women empowerment in the field of gender data. Together, we can create a more equitable and just world for all. My ears are on the ground, and I have heard about the intention to have the Women in Data Summit 2025, and by God's grace, we will do it collaboratively. Thank you. So before I sit down, I wanted to introduce you to our team. I can't go away without saying that. Florence, please come to the stage. And any member of our team who is here, we just want to acknowledge the team that has put work from the Office of the Women Rights Advisor, please. Yeah, just to let you know, even as you collaborate with them, Mercy, Nancy, where's everybody? Masiga, where are these people? They're busy still running. Just come. I want them to see your faces because we want to build a stronger partnership. Fanny, where are you? We want to build a stronger partnership, and I just wanted you to see their faces and acknowledge them. Wale watu wa Nandi, get ready na ile wimbo. I love it, by the way. Yeah, so this is our team. It's very important to know
Thank you very much. So first of all, Your Excellency DG, SG, I will want you to come. We've been very digital in this summit. The only thing we've printed are these two documents we are giving you. Everything else is digitized. The communique will be on the website for all of us to see what has been written. So we won't bother you with reading everything, but we will request you to act on it. So on behalf of the Office of the President, I will ask Madam Sylvia, I'll ask Dr. Tum to please come, and then on behalf of county governments, I'll ask DG to come. So all of you please come to receive this communique from the champions, the women who are supposed to be in the data.
The data themselves. Yes.
And then DG
The data themselves. Yes.
So how we're going to do it, hizi cameras ziko wapi? Asante sana. Hii ni camera B. Tusonge huku mbele. Katikati. All right. So mimi nitasimama hapa. So first of all, so mama utapatia deputy governor that communique. And this communique, DG, we are giving you from this summit on matters concerning counties. Highlight. When you meet the women DGs, call us, we expound some more on what we want the counties to do. So please, mama unaweza patia Madam DG. Pigeni makofi.
Thank you. Take this. It is I want to remind you, when you go there, this work, and this you see how we are going, and the work of Groups Kenya, to be reminded. So, take this and you go and you pray for it, and where you can help us, you help.
All right. So the next document is going to the Office of the President. The Office of the President is ably represented by Dr. Tum and Madam Sylvia. Please, you can give these two ladies. Pigeni makofi. All right, before they leave the stage, I want to ask ED Groups Kenya, I want to ask Floor SDG Kenya Forum, I want to ask Mushiri, please come. No, don't leave. Please, just one photo. Kimbieni kama students wamechelewa. Bell imering. So, the reason I've called these three is that the path of this Women in Data Summit came out of a workshop where these three were. So we finished our workshop and we gave birth. So we gave birth to this summit. We went to the office, we pitched, it was agreed, and that's why we are here today. So that's why these partners are here on this photo. Hi, wacheni wivu, angalieni. You're done? All right, appreciate them as they sit down. And in the morning, please rise up. Please rise up. Okay, rise up. There's something very important. DG, you can stay before we do this last thing. DG wants you to know her team from Nandi. Ukisikia level ya wale watu wamekuja kutoka Nandi, you will ask yourself, kwani kaunti yangu kunakaa aje? Sawa sawa? Yeah. Because groups mnaenda Nandi, mkifika mahali mjue mnaheshimu nani aje. Thank you.
Thank you very much, my sister Florence. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to take a very brief moment to introduce the team that came with me. Kindly step forward. The team from Nandi County. Paka juu. On my immediate left, I have the Deputy County Secretary, Dr. Lydia Kosgei. Then here I have the CC member for Education and Vocational Training, Madam Scholastica Tuwe, followed by the CC member in charge of Youth, Sports, Gender and Social Welfare, Rose Angira. Then followed by Mheshimiwa Milka Chumba, nominated MCA in the County Assembly of Nandi. And then I have my clinical officer. She's a clinical officer who is manning the Gender-Based Violence Recovery Center in Nandi. Abigail. Asante sana. God bless you. Karibuni Nandi. I was being accused of having walked away with all the ladies from the county.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, women. Your Excellency, sorry, talking after you is a ningumu. It's a crime. But the reason I'm standing here today is to acknowledge Florence. She mentored me. I'm here courtesy of her being brought to Nandi County by Her Excellency the DG. So I really appreciate the opportunity that I'm here, and I'm going to uphold the women, the girls, the boy child in Nandi County to battle gender-based violence. It's not easy. I'm here also debriefing. Thank you so much.
So one of the things that, the first thing I ever did when DG invited me to Nandi County is work with community health workers and also she was in social welfare, Abigail. Yes, and so we did a training on collecting the voices of children to help us have a response system in Nandi County. And so when I met her yesterday, she remembered me and didn't remember that she went through that training, and that's why she's where she is, manning the Gender-Based Violence Recovery Center. I remember Madam Sylvia saying, whatever little you do, it actually makes a difference. I didn't know how big a difference that training was going to make, but we can see what it has birthed. So what we've done here has birthed something special. And sooner than later, you will see the seed that you planted by being here. Amen? Amen? There's a song we danced in the morning. Madam DG, you are not here. Sylvia, you're not here. Frida, you're not here. I want us to dance. We said, victory is whose name? Victory is whose name? As we jet out and as we go to have lunch, the vouchers will be right there. Make sure you visit the podcast session. Make sure you hug someone. But before we go, can we appreciate God for what He has done? It is marvelous in His sight, and we are grateful. And so nataka tutoke hapa tukifanya nini? Tukideclare victory is my name, miracles are my name, blessings are, favor is. Oh, there you go. So can we dance a little bit? I want to see if SG can dance. Where I go, oh, victory is my name. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. The Lord has provided more than enough, no matter where I go. Oh, victory is my name. Joy overflowing. I'm celebrating in the midst of my enemies. I praise. In the midst of my enemies, I praise, I praise. I'm gonna put on my dancing shoes. I'll be the last one standing. no matter where I go. Oh, victory. Joy overflowing, more than a song. I'm celebrating in the midst of my enemies. I praise. In the midst of my enemies, I praise, I praise. I'm gonna put on my dancing shoes. I can lose. I'll be the last one standing. I'll be the last one